My name is Tess Miller, and through my coaching and seminar business, Wings Unfolded, I help people, especially artists lately, who love what they're doing, but they're not exactly sure where they're going with it. And today I thought I'd try something new. I have a guest, my friend, Rebecca Jeffries. She is also a coach, and ironically enough, she has spent most of her career in the music field playing the flute, just like me. We met through a mutual friend, and it is just such a pleasure to have here talking today about answering the call to change. So thank you, Rebecca, so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me, Tess. It's an exciting time to be discussing something other than the music field. It's
Yes, definitely. I agree, especially as, things in the music world are still so up in the air and uncertain. It's nice to branch out and kind of talk about things that can relate to being a musician, but not music specific. So
right.
So Rebecca, tell us about what your career looked like in the time before that you realized you needed to make a shift.
All right, so just like you, I'm a classical flutist. I've been doing it since I was a little girl. Always kind of starving, never really flourishing in the money department, but artistically flourishing and being a freelancer, performing everything from orchestras to chamber music to solo recitals, and eventually finishing out with a few CDs that are on radio stations throughout the world, which is kind of neat. But then COVID hit, and it actually was an opportunity for me because I had been questioning if that was a field I really wanted to be in anyway for a number of years, and I was kind of frustrated with the whole scene. And so I suddenly had no reason to play anymore, and I found that I didn't miss it, which was interesting. Other people missed it. I mean, they missed me playing, but I was like, woohoo, I'm a free woman.
Yeah.
You know how much discipline it takes to stay current in the field. You can't take a moment to breathe or rest. You got to just keep practicing and stay on top of the industry, and it felt good to step away from it.
Yeah. How surprising was that to you that you realized that, wow, this is actually kind of nice to step away from this?
I think at that point it didn't surprise me that much because I had really backed off quite a bit when my son was born. I just kind of dabbled in it, and then when he was around 10, I jumped back in full force again. And I didn't really like the way it looked when I went back. It was now all digital music, and YouTube was a thing, and the quality of live performance was just tanking, and people aren't showing up for concerts, and I didn't like what I saw. So I just did kind of the stuff that just made my heart sing, working with musicians I really love to collaborate with, people that made it feel emotionally engaging and worthwhile. But it wasn't enough to keep me going. I wanted more. I wanted to be able to help more people and be more of a giver than this music career, it can be very self-centered and not in a narcissistic way, but it's just that you have to focus on your craft so much that your little universe is very insular. So
yeah.
So
it sounds like you really caught the service bug.
Yeah, exactly.
You wanted to, be thinking about other people rather than how do I fuel my career and me.
Right. Because you're your own product, and that's exhausting.
Yeah. So, what, since you realized that it was okay for you to step away from that career track, what motivated you to go in the direction of coaching?
Another coach, actually. I I was lost for the first few months of COVID because all my concerts had been canceled. I had left my college teaching job that year, ironically, and so I was just kind of left floating. My son was old enough that he doesn't need me around 24/7, and I was independent to start trying other things, and we're all stuck at home. So I encountered this coach online. I didn't even know what a coach was. So I called him up. I said, "What is it you do exactly?" And he started telling me and talking to me, and we hit it off immediately. And after an hour, I was like, "I need to work with you." So I hired him. And he's a very artistic centered fellow. He's in woodworking, but he's an incredible creative. And so he understood how my brain worked. He
Yeah.
understood what my challenges were. He understood when I said, I don't like putting a price tag on my craft, that I have a hard time receiving money for it. He's been through all that. So it was really easy to connect with him because he has stepped away from his craft, and now his coaching business is a big moneymaker for him, and he loves it. And this is a guy who's a very introverted fellow. He's very private and quiet, but he can stand up in front of a huge corporate audience and train hundreds of people at a time, and it just fires him up.
Wow. Wow, that's so great. Yeah, that is one of the one of the biggest ways people catch the coaching bug is that they have their own coach. They get a taste for the power of coaching and what
It
it
is
can
powerful.
do.
Yes,
And then, pretty soon it's like, well, I want to do this for other people too.
right, right. And I really didn't imagine I would. I mean, that wasn't even on my radar when I first talked to him because I was like, I don't know what to do. And he would just listen to me talk and ask questions about where my strengths were and where my interests were. And um, he first suggested, looking at other people online. And I found a business course that I really liked. And I started taking that and really focusing on how do I use social media and what is an SEO and what should my website look like and how do I set up a shopping cart on my website. All this stuff was sort of new to me, even though I had a music website. It wasn't an operational website. It was just an ad, basically. So I went with that. And as my confidence grew, I started thinking about that I really needed a tool to show my strength and what I was my message that I was trying to deliver, which was in helping coaching other moms who have children with autism. And so I landed on my book. So I started it in January, and people are always amazed. And I say I wrote it in 3 months, but I had nothing else to do, number one. And the material has been spinning around in my head for years. So it was just a matter of getting it out onto paper and finally putting it together.
Yeah, your book is so beautifully written. I had the chance to read it before it was made public, and you can tell that your book is something that was kind of brewing and simmering for a long time. Whether you realize you were going to make a
Right.
book out of it, you took your experiences with your son and everything that happened in his journey through the educational systems and getting his final diagnosis, and just really turned it into a powerful tool that is going to help so many other parents. So
That's
could
my
you,
hope.
yeah. So could you tell the audience a little bit about, the book itself, what it's
Oh, I'd love
about?
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's titled "You Were Made for This." Is that backwards? Probably.
No, it's not. Not
Is
on
it?
my end.
Okay, great. You were made for this, finding courage and intuition for raising a child with autism. Um, it is a little interesting. The intuition part was something I felt I was pretty good at. I was fortunate in that I intuition, man, I like to define this word, is it's when you receive helpful messages from who knows where. They just seem kind of instinctual, and they're the solution to your problem in that moment. And I'm sure you've experienced this as a mom. Every mom experiences it. But there are times when we're so stressed out and distraught that we block that information, right? And so we're like, don't know what to do, don't know what to do, don't know what to do. Ah! And then the freak out starts. So in my book, I'm hoping to help the moms to remember the self-care and how important it is to keep themselves grounded so that they can keep their intuition there. And if the intuition is there, the courage will grow. And if the courage is growing, the confidence grows. And your child sees that in you and they model after you, and you'll be able to problem solve with a lot less stress. So that was my main goal for this book.
Yeah, and you did it. You know, that whole self-care piece really comes through loud and clear, the necessity for it. And is absolutely true. When you're taking care of yourself, then you do have that courage and strength to be open
Right.
to whatever intuitive that next best steps need to happen.
Right. Right.
So what was the most challenging, just to kind of take a step back towards that moment when you decided to step away from music and launch into this coaching business? What was the most challenging part of facing that shift for you?
Yeah. Well, I think you'll understand this, but it was everybody else. It wasn't me. I was so ripe and ready. And everybody else was like, what do you mean you're not playing? You're known as the flutist. Even last week I went to my hometown and they're like, oh, you're that girl. That was, they pretend they were playing the flute. And I was like, yeah, but I'm so much more, so it's been everybody else. I have not faced any challenges. I've just taken the courage, and I feel the more I believe in me, the more they'll believe in me. And that seems to be happening. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. When people you in a certain way, and then all of a sudden you open up to other facets of yourself, and it's almost like a reintroduction.
Yes.
Hello, you might have known me as this, but I'm really this.
Right. It's been great to meet brand new people in my hometown because they don't know my previous life, and so now they're seeing me as this author, and that's refreshing, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. It sounds like it doesn't come with like the same kind of baggage that a career that you've been in for a while comes with.
Right. And this career gets, glorified a lot. People think it's so glamorous. You're up on stage. That's because they only see us when we're done up in black, right? And we've got these shiny instruments and we're playing for a wealthy audience, and it seems like it's just what a dreamy job.
They don't get the behind the scenes.
No.
Yep. So, what is the biggest thing that you learned about yourself in making this shift?
I learned that I have more to myself than just playing music. That's all I thought I knew. Yeah. And I've seen so many things from my music career have translated into this. Yeah. Like people ask me, they're like, how are you marketing your book? I'm like, marketing's a piece of cake. I've been marketing myself for the last 30 years, So I just took my skill set and put it to a different audience. And being an older generation, the social media thing doesn't really appeal to me, but I'm not afraid to pick up a phone and call someone. So that's how I connect with a lot of other professionals. Just call them, and it works perfectly for me, and I'll just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally true. I think when people are facing this idea of, gosh, I'm not sure I like exactly what I'm doing anymore, but I'm afraid to shift to something different. Like, I think it would be amazing, but I don't know anything about that. And I think sometimes what happens is people forget that you have developed all of these skills and tools doing this one thing that you can apply.
Absolutely.
In this new direction.
Look at us tonight. I mean, you and I are used to standing on a stage and talking to an audience. And so doing this live tonight, we're totally like in our wheelhouse. This is just, it's comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's neat. So, what else would you want viewers to know about making life transitions?
don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's a big one, whether it's a coach or just someone else in the field or someone that can help you hold you accountable. Just search. There's so much information on the internet, free information, how to set up your website, how to do a podcast, how to submit a writing to a digital magazine. I mean, it's all out there. You don't have to spend gobs of money, but you do have to look for it. Don't be afraid to look and to research, and just be courageous. If you believe in it, they'll believe in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. So if people would want to buy your book or look at what you do or maybe connect with you in some way, how do they find you?
So my website is sproutinghealthyfamilies.com, and you can get right to the book there. You can read what comments people have made, and you can see the table of contents to see if it's something that you think would be helpful. It has beautiful illustrations. I'm going to show off a couple of these.
Yeah.
The illustrator is a fellow musician too, which is kind of fun. So this is my chapter on self-compassion, and he went for a teapot with a little human kind of welcoming time, to themselves with their pot of tea. So they're fun and beautiful. There's a Buddha mama in here. There's here's the Buddha mama. I just love her.
Oh yeah.
Kind of decompress. So, just beautiful. Here's chaos.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Right.
That is chaos.
So if you want to find the book, it's sproutinghealthyfamilies.com, and I also have a business page on Facebook, and you can buy it there too. Or you can find me directly on Facebook, Rebecca Jeffries. And I also have a YouTube channel where you can listen to all my podcasts, and just, again, look for Rebecca Jeffries, and you'll find the flutist and the podcast host, both being me. So feel free to check out everything I've got out there. I've got a lot of different guests on my podcast, from autism specialists to health experts to coaches to artists. It's across the board. Anyone who makes the world a better place, Sarah, I'm speaking with them.
Oh, it's so great. It's such a great service that you provide through those podcasts, and alerting everyone to all of the resources out there that can help them become the best parents and families that they can be. Right.
And, I want to give a plug for your book, because you gave me the privilege of reading your book before it was published, and the timing was perfect. Because I was in that transition stage. Tessa's book is the book of stuck. So she helps you get past your self-limiting beliefs. And what I read was exactly what I needed to hear when I read it. So it was fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was so great to be on the book writing journey with you at the same time. It really helped to, not feel so alone, and to know that, I'm not the only one experiencing the challenges of making big life transitions. So thank you for all of your support.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you for supporting me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are at the end of our show today. So thank you again, Rebecca, for joining us on Growing in Uncertainty. And if you want to find other Growing in Uncertainty videos, you can find those here on Facebook or on YouTube, my YouTube channel. And remember that it's okay to be stuck, but you don't have to stay there. Excellent. Take care, everyone.